Are you there? Can you hear me? We're back at hanging out at Tom's Path. Last time we did this, the live stream cut off after about 4 minutes, so I'm going to videotape this also. So if it dies, I can get the rest of it in there. There was about 10 more minutes of that last lesson, but it disappeared after 4 minutes. So I wanted to finish that before going on to other things. So where were we? We were talking about playing groups of 3 with 2 hands. You only get 2 hands, most of you, usually. So when you're playing groups of 3 notes with 2 hands, you get this back and forth thing going on where you land on your right and you land on your left, unless you mix up the stickings, which is what this lesson was about. So hopefully we can get more of this in before it dies. So last lesson, we were doing groups of 3 using hand-to-hand sticking, just back and forth, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, but in groups of 3. So you see the accent switches sides, like so. It's called hand-to-hand. And then we were doing these 2 patterns, right, left, left, and right, right, left, 2 rights and a left. You can do that on the opposite side, left, right, right, or left, left, right. Let me talk a little bit about moving the accents around. So if I play this against the click, you may or may not be able to hear this, but I can hear it. It's right here, 92 beats per minute. It sounds like this. See? So that's where the last video stopped. And what I wanted to go through again, if you're still there, wave at me, is longer, basically taking those little 3-note stickings and combining them together to make 6-note stickings. It's the same pieces. And this is the whole thing that most people don't know about, is all this stuff we play as drummers, all these fast notes we play, it's just made out of those 4 little stickings. Right, left, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. That's all you have because of the limitation of our only having 2 arms. So the first one is a very common sticking. It's basically the first 2 I did, right, left, left, right, right, left. It's called a 6-stroke roll. That's on the 40 standard rudiment sheets. It's become more and more popular the last 10 years with drum solo guys. If you watch lots of YouTube videos, it's lots of people playing really, really fast. The gospel style drummers. Thomas Priggett's the most famous one. And it's a million 6-stroke rolls. And what that is just right, left, left, right, right, left, over and over and over. Generally, you're going to accent the first stroke on whichever hand you're starting on. So if you're starting with your right, now this one has a built-in accent scheme in it because of the 2 singles. Generally, not all the time, but generally, you're going to hit those with a higher stroke. They call that a full stroke, an accent stroke. So you get this sort of swing rhythm happening inside of the rudiment. You get that. So it works well in jazz, rock drumming, triplet bass fills. And what a lot of drummers will do is play that little pattern and just move it around on the drum set, hitting the toms, hitting the cymbals, whatever's in front of them, and just splitting their hands apart. I've got another pad down here. And that way you can make little melodies out of these things. So all you think about is this sticking that you've practiced long enough to be able to spit it out. And then you just kind of go from there. So I'm going to play this one 2 ways. We'll do it slow so you can kind of see what's going on, and then double time. So this is at 92 beats per minute, so triplets at 92, which is here. right? Feels really slow. And then double time. So you can just link them together. Still in time, in triplets, you're just doing 3 notes or 6 notes per quarter note. So that's an easy one to sort of spit out of your hands. It feels like a triplet roll with accents. So when I was younger, I didn't know how guys were getting those accents. When I saw them playing rolls, well, they were doing this. Right? It all sounds like one long 30-second note roll, but actually it's this rudiment, the 6-stroke roll. It's sort of a cousin. It's called a paradiddle diddle. Some people call it the rock and roll paradiddle. And what this one is, very similar, but it's right, left, right, right, left, left. So this one doesn't rotate around either. It's always going to land on the side that you start on. So if I start with my right, it's going to land on the right. It's kind of like a 5-stroke roll played with the accents at the beginning instead of the end. Right? So again, if you start it slowly, in triplets, it sounds like this. You can accent both notes or just the one. Right? Or I can double time it. So at this tempo, 92, it sounds like something at either speed, right? A lot of these things don't sound like anything if you go too slow. It just sounds like random tapping. Or if you go too fast, you lose all the nuance. So at these 2 speeds, you can hear it. If you break it apart between 2 sounds, like a cymbal and a snare drum, lo and behold with this one, you get the jazz ride cymbal over here. See how that works? That's where that comes from. So it's just rudimentary based. So again, they're made out of those short 3-note groupings. 3 or right, left, left, right, right, left. You make them together. That's your 6-stroke roll. If you put 2 singles in front of them, you got the paradiddle diddle. Got it? Are we still there? I think so. This other one, this other sticking, super common, super basic. It's what they call a double paradiddle. So for people who aren't drummers, there's a sticking called a paradiddle, which is right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. If you add a second double stroke to the end, makes it a 6-note grouping. Right, left, right, right. Excuse me. Right, left, right, left, right, right. So the way we thought of it when I learned this is you're adding paras, right? Para, para, para. It's right, left, right, left, right, left with an accent. I guess if you did 36 of these, it would be a 36th diddle, right? The basic one is the single paradiddle, but for the triplet feel, we're going to do right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, left. That's it. So in a triplet feel, now again, you can hide or change the accents. If you just play one accent, it still sounds like 16th-note triplets. If you do the first 2 accents on the right hands, you kind of lose a little bit of that triplety feel. It's more of a, it sounds more like 6/16, if that makes sense. 16th notes. It's the same sticking. It's just the way you're counting it. So if I feel it in triplets at 92, which is here, it's slow. If I do it at double time, dig? So just with those 3 stickings, the 6-stroke roll, the paradiddle diddle, and the double paradiddle, if you just link them together, you can solo for 2 minutes if you want. Yay. It's all 16-note triplets. It's all just different stickings. If you move around on the different sound sources you have, it sounds like music. If you're just playing on the pad, it really doesn't. But this is a way to get you the facility to play this stuff around the kit and to play things rather than just playing right, left, right, left, right, left around the drum set like most young rock and punk drummers will do. If you go see me play ever, you'll rarely see me play 4 notes per drum around the kit. It just never comes up because there's all these other things to play. That's basically it. So remember, you can do this kind of stuff on any instrument. It's not just for drums, this thing with the patterns, right, left, left, right, left, left. You can play that on the bass if you're slapping with your right and slapping with your on the neck with your left hand. And play the different patterns. Same thing, right? If you're a keyboard player, obviously you can do that. If you're a guitar player, your right hand, your picking hand, just plays the right hand parts. So maybe you guys that aren't actually drummers, Jeremy, you can take this stuff and use it on your own instrument and see if you come up with stuff. It's always better to do that and have some flow in your playing instead of just playing straight 8 notes because I'm a punk rock metal guitar player, dude, right? Mix it up a little bit, get a little flow going. And this is a good way to do that. I remember Tim Bogart, the bass player from Vanilla Fudge, when I was in music school, he was one of the bass teachers, and he said he played paradiddles on the bass drum, or excuse me, on the bass guitar. That's where he got some of his ideas from. A lot of the early Metallica riffs are based on drum rudiments that the rhythm guitar player would play. So use that stuff for whatever you're doing. I don't care if you're beatboxing or playing kazoo, which will be a later lesson, trust me. Just use the same stuff. So have at it. I'll see you next time from Tom's Pad.